Yo, 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 yo. No, I'm just playing. Yo, man, I just got back from Baltimore, flew into Baltimore, drove down to Virginia, Richmond, that is. My boy just got his doctorate degree, and it was a trip I had to take. I was like, you having a party? I want to come out there. So, you know, uh, these are my guys that I met online during COVID, some social workers that I connected with, started a group chat with, and really just been rocking ever since. You know what I'm saying? I met Dr. Bell early. I met him at a conference in 2021. So, but it took us a while to all kind of, link up. So last year we linked up in Chicago. If you remember that vlog where I did the food vlog, you know what I'm saying? And that was cool, but this time it was different because we didn't have nothing to do. In Chicago, we had to go and do a presentation at the NSAW conference, you know what I mean? And that was fun. But this time it wasn't nothing holding us back. We just was out in the streets, you know what I'm saying? We was out just kind of doing our thing. But I flew into Baltimore because Richmond is a hard place to fly to from Portland. I'm not going to lie to you. It is hard to fly into Richmond from Portland. It costs a lot of money. The airline that I prefer does not fly directly there. So I was like, I'm gonna make a trip out of it. So I looked up how much it would cost to fly to Baltimore because I knew Baltimore is close, to Virginia. So I flew to Baltimore and that was cool. I flew to Baltimore, rented a car, and drove to Virginia. Baltimore gets a bad rap. But man, Baltimore, I was loving the vibes. You know what I'm saying? I was only there for about 4 hours, so people might say, "Oh, well, you weren't there long enough." But man, it was a beautiful city. The weather was perfect. I was spent some time in the Camden Yards, where the Orioles play. I was kind of bouncing around there, just kind of, taking pictures, doing my thing. And then I did that. I drove up to, I forgot where I drove to, but I was trying to find a breakfast spot because I wanted to get something to eat while I was there. Because I just wanted to get something to eat. And I didn't have enough time. I wanted some pit beef, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to eat 10 crabs, you know what I'm saying? But I was there early, so I had to get breakfast. But I did find a spot called Blue Moon. Blue Moon was bomb. Yeah, it was interesting, you know what I'm saying? You could tell they were used to having a lot of people, come in and out because they was, you put your name down, they call you, you eat, they get you out of there, you know what I'm saying? I got something interesting. I was like, I got to get something interesting while I'm in Baltimore. So I got the crab dip French toast, and that was good. I wanted to take footage on my Osmo because that's what I like to do, but it was dark in there. I just did it on my phone. And that was, good enough. I made a little short on my YouTube page. Check that out. You know what I'm saying? It's on there. But the crab dip French toast was crab dip over French toast with Utz chips on top, right? Of course, I added some hot sauce, and I wasn't really ready for what was about to happen, you know what I'm saying, with this crab dip French toast. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it worked, you know what I'm saying. You still got the sweetness of the French toast. I didn't even have to add syrup or anything like that. Their French toast was naturally sweet. You know what I'm saying? Some French toast don't be naturally sweet, it might have a little bit of sweetness because of that, nutmeg in the batter, but this French toast was sweet, and then that savory, sweet and savory already. Crab is already kind of sweet and savory, so that, you know what I'm saying, just sprinkle it on top. Got a side of hash browns. I was good to go, so I got that. I walked around the neighborhood a little bit, in Baltimore just to kind of see what was going on. I had like a 30-minute wait, so I just bopped around, and yeah, got in the car, drove to Virginia. Man, the driving down there was crazy. I felt like 55 on the Baltimore Washington highway was insane. I was expecting, people talk so much about the East Coast driving. I was expecting 60, at least 60, nothing under 60, but it was 55 and it was kind of touch and go, you know what I'm saying? But we made it, the speed limit didn't get to 70 till we got well into Virginia, but Virginia was cool, man. I got to Virginia, got to Richmond, stayed downtown at the Hilton, and downtown Richmond was just a vibe, you know what I'm saying? Richmond had a lot of art, had a lot of, just kind of, yeah, it just had its own personality. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of interesting being in that area for the first time, because it's one of the 13 colonies, right? So they had a lot of history that was kind of interesting. You know what I'm saying? But it was cool. Got to the hotel, met up with my guys. And we just hung out that night. The next day we drove to the country. You know what I'm saying? My guys from Caroline County. So we drove up to Caroline County, and he had a big lot. You know what I'm saying? He had a house, but just surrounded by acreage. So we was out there. You know what I'm saying? His family cooked for him. You know what I'm saying? They had music. I met some of his peoples. Peoples was cool peoples. They was all fresh too. You know what I'm saying? They was younger than me, but we about the same age. But they late 30s, and they was a young, fresh crew. You know what I'm saying? They was a fresh crew. You know what I'm saying? They was all wearing J's, you know what I'm saying, Kith, throwback jerseys. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They was fitted. I was like, okay, I see y'all out here in Richmond, you know what I'm saying? And in Richmond in general, I feel like the gear was on point. Sometimes I go out of town. Now, I hold Portland to a high standard when it comes to like streetwear, just sneakers in general, you know what I'm saying? Because Portland is, Nike, right? It's we do it up. You know what I'm saying? But this, I feel like Richmond had good representation when it came to gear. People was out wearing polo. You know what I'm saying? I was impressed because they wasn't doing too much. You go to some cities and people just want to look like they in all designer. You know what I'm saying? They want to look like they just got the best fit. You know what I'm saying? Like they spent $1,000 on they fit. You know what I'm saying? When they probably didn't. But hey, that's hate. But hey, it's hate. It's hate. It could be hate. But Richmond, yeah, they were just putting it on. So shout out to Richmond. I said I see y'all gear game. It was proper. But yeah, we went out to Caroline County where he was at and celebrating with his family. You know what I'm saying? I've been waiting to eat some, fish in Virginia because, I was like, man, I know the fish here is bomb. And they did fry it up pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the food was good. Home cooked food. It was bomb. Yeah. But I loved it. I loved Virginia. It felt good. It just felt good there, you know what I'm saying? Now, I wasn't really sure what to expect, you know what I'm saying? Me being from up north, going to the south, you never really know, you know what I mean? What to expect, but it was cool. I felt safe. I felt love, you know what I'm saying? It was all love, So, but it was cool meeting his people, you know what I'm saying? Seeing how he grew up, seeing the people he connects with, he grew up with, the people that molded him to be the man he is, you know what I'm saying? Dr. Trey Taylor. It was just cool, you know what I'm saying? To get a glimpse of like his upbringing, I loved it out there. But the trip was nice, man. I think me and my guys going to try to do this every year, just try to, connect, just go somewhere else. I think we got St. Louis on 2027 calendar, you know what I'm saying? Are we trying to get St. Louis on the 2027 calendar? But yeah, it was cool. But yeah, shout out to y'all. Shout out to everybody, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really a fan of traveling for real. You know what I'm saying? It's not really my thing. But I'm trying to I'm trying to embrace it more as I get older. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand, that you gotta live life a little bit. I got kids. I want my kids to see some things. When I was a youngster, you know what I'm saying? Me and my family, my nuclear family, meaning my two older brothers and my mom and dad, we only went on one vacation before my parents got divorced. Feel like I want to do a little more, you know what I'm saying? So, but I did go to Virginia by myself.